Hello guys, so in today's video I'm going to talk about when to use the subjunctive and also how to form it. So on the first page I give you an acronym that will help you remember the indicators as to when to use the subjunctive in Spanish, and the acronym is wedding. So the W stands for wishes and wants, the E stands for emotions, the D stands for doubt, the other D stands for denial, the I stands for impersonal expressions, the N stands for non-existent, and the G stands for God willing. So we're gonna go ahead and look at each little letter isolated, and I'll give you a few examples. And we're also going to discuss how to actually form a subjunctive clause. So let's get into it. So there are three things that you need to look for to make sure that you're using the subjunctive. So you need an indicator, and that's what I talked about previously, looking back at the wedding acronym: wishes, emotions, doubt, denial, etc. You also need a K, and you need a change in subject. So if you have all these three things, that gives you the green light that you can go ahead and start forming the subjunctive. And this is how you form it. So in order to form the subjunctive, you take the yo form of the verb, you drop the O, and then you put the opposite endings. So it's pretty much exactly like commands, especially the negative to commands and like el, usted commands. So dishes and cargar still applies. However, the rules for direct object pronouns and indirect object pronouns are different. They are never attached. They always go in front. So now that we know how to form the subjunctive, let's look at each little part of the acronym, weddings. So the first part of wedding is wishes and wants. The sentence I chose is we hope that he is happy, so this is something we're wishing for. So my indicator is there, it's esperamos. I also have the K, and I do have the change in subject from we to he. So that gives me the green light that I can go ahead and conjugate estar in the subjunctive. So be careful here, because estar is one of those irregulars from dishes. So the form for el is este. So that is my use of the subjunctive there. So the second part of wedding, emotions. The sentence that I used is, I am mad that we have a test today. So the emotion is being mad. So part one of the indicator, estoy enojado. Then we have the que, and we also have a change in subject from I am to we. So that gives me the green light that I can go ahead and conjugate tener in the subjunctive form. So I get tengamos. Yo form of tener is tengo. I drop the O. I add the opposite endings because tener is a ER verb, but I have the amos, that's the opposite ending. The third part of wedding is doubt, and the verb to doubt is dudar. So whenever you see like dudo or dudas or dudar, you definitely know that you are going to have to use the subjunctive. So my indicator, yo dudo, I have the que, I also have the change in subject from I to you, so I can go ahead and use the subjunctive. So the verb to understand is entender, the yo form is entiendo. Drop the O, add the opposite endings. So entender is an ER verb, so my opposite ending would be as. So we talked about one way to express doubt is with the verb dudar, but another way is to use the verb pensar. But be careful here, because you have to have a no preceding the pensar in order for it to be doubt. Pensar just means to think, right? So if you are saying I think, there is no doubt there. You need the no, I don't think. So the sentence I chose to use is we don't think she eats at that restaurant. So the indicator is clear there. It's no pensamos, there is doubt. The que, we have the que, and we also have a change in subject from we to she, so I can use the subjunctive here. So the verb comer means to eat. Yo como is the yo form. I drop the O. Comer is an ER verb, so the opposite ending is going to be a. No pensamos que ella coma en ese restaurante. So the fourth part of the acronym wedding is denial. The verb to deny is negar. It's also a stem changer in the present. So rather than being tú negas, it will be tú niegas. So it's an E to IE stem changer. So the example I chose to use here is, do you deny that I have money? Niegas, so that's the indicator. Que, we have the que. We also do have the change in subject from you to I, so I'm going to use the subjunctive here. The verb to have is tener. The yo form of tener is yo tengo. It's an ER verb, so the opposite ending is going to be tenga. Niegas que tenga dinero. Do you deny that I have money? So similar to how we have two ways to express doubt, we also have two ways to express denial. So previously I mentioned using the verb negar, which literally means to deny, but you can also express denial using creer. But again, you have to have a no before the conjugated form of creer, because if it was just I believe, there would be no denial there. The no signifies that there is denial. So the sentence I chose to do is, I don't believe he understands the truth. No creo que, that takes care of the I don't believe, which is an indicator. You have the que, you have the change in subject from I to he. So I can use the subjunctive here. The verb to understand is entender. It's a stem changer, E to IE. The yo form is yo entiendo. And since it is an ER verb, the opposite ending is going to be a. No creo que él entienda la verdad. So the I part of weddings stands for impersonal expressions. There are so many impersonal expressions. I chose to use es importante que, it's important that, but some other examples would be es lógico que, it's logical that, es necesario que, it's necessary that, es peligroso que, it's dangerous that, etc. There are so many. So yeah, but the sentence I chose to use is, it's important that you study. Es importante que, so I have the indicator, es importante, I have the que. My change in subject is just kind of from this like impersonal realm to the you. So I can use the subjunctive. So the verb to study is estudiar. I study is estudió. And since it is an AR verb, it's going to be, the opposite endings is going to be es. Es importante que tú estudies. So the end part of wedding is non-existent. So the first example that I chose was, there is no one that speaks Japanese. The indicator here is no hay nadie. That means pretty much non-existent. There is nobody. Someone who speaks Japanese does not exist. So I have the indicator, I have the que, so I can use the subjunctive. The verb to speak is hablar. Yo form of hablar is yo hablo. It's an AR verb, so the opposite ending is hable. And whenever I have nobody, no one, whenever I have nadie or alguien, I conjugate it in the LA usted form. Now, non-existent can also be used when you have a question, like you don't know for certain that someone who speaks Japanese doesn't exist, but you also don't know for certain that they do. So there is this cloud of uncertainty. So is there someone that knows? Hay alguien, is there someone? So that's the indicator. I have the que, that gives me the green light that I can use the subjunctive. So to know is saber, but if you remember, it's an irregular, it's part of dishes. It takes the form sepa. So is there someone that knows? Hay alguien que sepa. And the final part of the acronym weddings is the phrase God willing, which is ojalá. It can also be translated as hopefully. So the example I chose to use was, God willing, or hopefully, the students will get good grades. Ojalá que, so that's the indicator. Los estudiantes saquen, that's my use of the subjunctive here, buenas notas. So how did I get saquen? Well, the verb that's used in the expression to get good grades is sacar, and it's an AR verb, so the opposite ending would be en, and I need that Q there to preserve pronunciation, so that it's not saquen, but saquen. This example also brings up another good point. The present subjunctive and the future subjunctive are the same. Because in this sentence, students will get good grades. That's alluding to the future. But with subjunctive, the present and the future are the same. The past, however, is a whole nother story that I can cover in another video if you want me to.